The DiMera mansion on Days of Our Lives has recently become somewhat crowded. Johnny, EJ and Nicole, Tony and Anna, Stefan and Gabby are all present. Also a new infant? Okay, so the baby isn't here yet, but we can almost guarantee that it is. And you might be thinking that Gabby's pregnancy is next now that Stefan and her are back together and enjoying themselves horizontally. But it most likely isn't. Not after those biscuits, at least. You see, while under the influence of those awful substances, Eric and Nicole slept together. Despite using protection during their liaison, Jada still became pregnant. It's difficult to believe that the delusional Ericole decided to bother with it this time, which means Nicole's pregnancy is almost certainly going to happen next. Sure enough, according to the previews for the upcoming week, Nicole is battling Eric and EJ for her attention because of her medical issues. The problem is that Nicole might already be in serious difficulty by the time she learns she is pregnant. EJ is aware that something is wrong, and despite Tony's advice to drop it, it is obvious that he is determined to get the truth. He might be prepared for some retaliation if he finds out Nicole and Eric slept together prior to the pregnancy, as well as for the inevitable paternity test Nicole will be required to do. If she's still hesitant to tell EJ what happened, she'll make an effort to do so covertly in the hopes that she won't ultimately have to inform her boyfriend that there was ever a doubt. However, EJ would be prepared for that and prepared to ensure that he is the father regardless of what happens without Nicole ever suspecting a thing. But would EJ actually treat a child that way? These days, it's difficult to say. His relationship with Nicole developed in large part due to his fragility after losing Susan, and he was willing to set aside his family-first principles in an effort to damage Stefan, whether he admitted it or not. No matter who gets wounded, EJ might be in the mood for some good old-fashioned vengeance. Heck, changing Nicole's paternity could even be the best way for him to listen to his brother and heed Tony's counsel, to ignore Nicole's transgressions and make sure they remain together despite them. But more than that, it would provide him with a means of exacting revenge on Eric and serve as a perverse parody of Nicole's attempt to claim the child that he and Sumi had together as her own. But if he could maintain the hoax long enough, he might be able to pass off a Brady as a DiMera, which would be the biggest scandal. Yes, we are aware that is a large part of Johnny's act, but he does at least contain both halves. We are all aware that Stefano had no issues adopting children and bringing them up according to the DiMera values. Heck, just observe how well Kristen handled it. The truth would eventually have to surface, but that does not necessarily mean that it would have to do so immediately. The longer it goes on, the more harm will be done when the truth is discovered, harm that can drive Eric even farther into a dark place. And that might be the catalyst that ignites the DiMera/Brady feud once more after it has barely simmered for so long. But this time, Eric, and consequently the Bradys, might have a strong force on their side. Sloane, who is ruthless, immoral, and prepared to do everything it takes to bring the DiMeras down. When the going gets tough, she'd be the one to go after EJ, his family, his riches and his firm and try to take it all away. Eric may be somewhat of an outcast at the moment in his family for being with her. She already knows what happened, and it has only served to confirm her desire for Eric. This can present her with an additional opportunity to impress him. The key question was whether that would be sufficient to convince the DiMera brothers to mend their differences, or if Stefan and Gabby would instead use it to incite a larger altercation. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel, Daily Bulletin News, and stay with us.